Dzień dobry. Czy mnie dobrze
Good morning, everyone.
Witam wszystkim bardzo serdecznie.
I warmly welcome all gathered
To jest
guests.
zupełnie nowa sytuacja dla mnie, także za ewentualne błędy przepraszam. Natomiast oczywiście jestem przyzwyczajony do tego, że jednak własne myśli...
To start with, I would like to say this is a completely new situation for me, so I apologize for any mistakes. However, of course, I'm used to expressing my own thoughts or interpretations mainly through music, so this transition will be quite interesting, but I hope everything will go according to plan. The topic of today's lecture, consequences of expressing one's opinions regarding performance. I say right away that without consulting with the professor, I decided to slightly change the format and turn this lecture into a kind of panel discussion, because this is the fifth forum of young pedagogues. So we will certainly focus here on young people, around our students, whom we are trying to shape in some way. And if anyone is interested in my more scientific work, I refer, of course, to my thesis. For the bachelor's degree, it was the early period of Kārļa Szymanowski's work, and for the master thesis, 𝗬𝗏 𝐃𝐙 as a composer and pianist. But a few words about me. My name is Mateusz Krzyżowski. Currently, I'm an assistant at the 𝗤𝗏 Chopin University of Music in Warsaw. Maybe I'll start like Adele in one of her recent performances. I am very happy to be here today. On Saturday at 10 a.m., 13 hours after playing a concert with the orchestra in Łódź. Can the weekend start more beautifully? I don't think so. I'm very happy that we are here in such an intimate, small group. Now then, of course, the presentation is more like auxiliary, but these are certain issues that I would like to discuss with you. So you can shout, you don't even have to raise your hand, just please express your opinions. Master-student relationship. I'm only 25 years old. I graduated from my master's last June, and I immediately became an assistant. For a very long time, I wondered what foundation to base my work on with other people, with these younger colleagues, with the students who are really younger than me by 2-3 years, maybe 4. But this age difference is practically non-existent. Should I come wearing a suit, sit comfortably in an armchair and judge, or am I the person who is primary for the student, who should help, practice with them, be a mediator, be a link between what the professor says and what is often incomprehensible today, due to simply a generational difference. That's why I tried many options. I asked, consulted many people, but quickly came to the conclusion that I really have to be myself. What do I mean? It seems simple and quite trivial. However, this authenticity in the relationship between one person and another is crucial. When I start to open up to the student, then the reaction is completely different. Should I be formal with my student, or should it be formal? What are the concerns? Well, I was mainly concerned that after the third class, the student would come up to me and say, "Hi, Mati, listen, it was great, so I won't come next week because, you know, there is a cool party there. We know each other well, we are buddies, so everything will be okay." Fortunately, such situations have not occurred yet, and I hope to avoid them in future. Should we, as young educators, rather intellectually stimulate, support the creativity of these young people? Or should we show shortcuts on how a given performance should look? It's a process that is colloquially called monkey see, monkey do, right?
Czy to jest dobre?
I show and you repeat. Is this good? Of course, it all depends on the specific individual. However, this is a very short path to the student becoming solely a copy of their teacher.
Swojego pedagoga. Oczywiście wszystko można
Of course, everything can be practiced, but not everything can be felt.
Teraz rzucam taką
Now I drop a delicate bombshell when I read, and I read.
Jeden z postów pana
This is
Adama
one of the posts by Mr. Adam Rozlach. I just watched Pianoforte by Jakub Piątek, very valuable, instructive, educational, suspenseful, and incredibly moving. It's watched because it's a very close topic to us, with great interest, and in the end, with considerable embarrassment regarding the results. Maybe even with embarrassment, how two such exceptionally talented characters, two wonderfully fresh, inspired, in a Chopin-esque way, sensitive 17-year-olds from Russia, Armenia and China were harmed, and they rightly became the main characters of the film, as they were the most authentic characters outside the unquestionable winner of the 18th Chopin competition, and in the film, alongside them, there are fantastic teachers present with them there. Surprise is even greater today because some of these top 6 did not even possess half of that measure of individuality, maybe even some charisma, qualities and values that should always be of the highest value, especially in competitions. As a key to understanding what happened in October 2021, the sentence of the chairwoman of the jury spoken at the end of the film about the Russian girl, in a sense explaining this verdict, that after all, you're only 17 years old and you can participate in the next competition. It's a pity that both our, but also the world's citizen, the Chopin competition, treats such brilliant talents this way.
Proces nauczania.
The teaching process
przez który przechodzimy
through which we all go
jest często
is often invisible to the audience.
Dla odbiorcy, dla osoby, która zasiada
to the person sitting in the audience.
I przez godzinę naszego
and for an hour of our recital, our performance,
pewną opinię.
They form an opinion about us. Yesterday, Adam Goździewski had a fantastic lecture here on techniques of mental preparation for stage performance and raised this issue.
Porusza właśnie te kwestie. Natomiast
however,
czy powinniśmy już teraz
already now make our students aware of how it all looks?
Tego, jak to wszystko wygląda. Czy to nie jest zniechęcające?
Or is it discouraging?
Ktoś się obudzi rano,
someone wakes up in the morning and decides that it's the perfect day to simply share their opinion about a certain performance. Isn't that harmful for example, these 6 finalists? Two people are fantastic. They have personality, according to Mr. Rozlach. What about the rest? Of course, there are tastes and preferences. However, my question is, what do you think? Should we already inform them that the live or concert pianist, if such is the goal of our student, is simply unfair, and what suffering is associated with it? Because they don't realize it. And I know exactly from myself that at the beginning, I didn't realize how many negative opinions I would encounter and how much I would have to be resilient to all of this. Would anyone like to speak now at this moment? No. All right.
Jak najbardziej,
Yes,
zgadzam się tutaj
I
z
absolutely agree with the professor here.
Jest jedna kwestia, którą chciałbym
There is one issue I'd like to address because I also had a similar relationship with my teacher for a while, and it was a really fantastic period. Why? Because for 6-7 hours, one day, we couldn't get past 2 lines of music.
Czy to jest coś strasznego?
Is it something terrible?
To jest ten proces nauki,
is that the learning process, the journey, the moment on our musical path that everyone should go through, that everyone must go through to achieve anything? It seems to me that in the case of the finalists of the Chopin competition, which is a race, which is an Olympics, unfortunately, they all went through it. And I would bet my left leg on it, because I overused the left pedal, supposedly. So let it be. Therefore,
czy te określenia
are these terms
są nam obce
alien to us in pedagogy, in the teaching process?
W procesie nauczania. Troszeczkę tak to zostało ujęte w tym dokumencie.
It was somewhat encapsulated in this documentary. Of course,
tak to wygląda.
It's all simplified. However, this is how it looks. And then these people treated in this way, of course, at that moment are considered outstanding personalities. Why? Because we pity them, because they experience something like this, and if someone finally goes through this path, like, for example, I'm not sure, so I won't say, but when someone has this peace of mind, which is eventually available and can be a fully fledged artist on stage, we don't like it because it's too peaceful. Next, another situation. Expectations versus reality. I remember when I was just starting my adventure with pedagogy, which is very short, I must emphasize, my experience is really small, and I won't say where it was, whether it was the beginning at the Frederick Chopin University of Music in Warsaw or some workshops. It absolutely doesn't matter. However, 2 young people came to me, and it was my first contact with them. First situation. Right away, I hear that this person is from a very small town, that she doesn't really know what she's doing here in this institution, how she got here, and that she cannot play. How can I react to something like that? Comfort her, try to boost confidence? Is that my task as a slightly older colleague? Second girl plays fantastically. What was that? Chopin's Polonaise Fantasia. She really made one minimal mistake towards the end. Played one wrong note. Automatically stopped and started apologizing to me for it. Are these normal behaviors? Are we striving for them? Is this training, this pressure, which is now being put on young artists, is this what we desire? Is this really our only means to achieve a goal? Now, my next question is very important. What can we, as young educators, say to our students today? Not what we shouldn't say, because here the boundaries are much smaller, but what can we really say? That the musical text is slightly different, starting from such trivialities that someone played forte and it should have been piano. Okay, we'll say it once, twice, but the third time the student will block oneself and say, oh, so I can't do anything, I can't even read the music properly. What can we pay attention to? That he has a rigid, stiff playing apparatus? I encourage you now to start some discussion.
Sposób czego? Tak. Tak.
Dopiero jak ktoś mi
Only when someone points it out to me do I try to work on it.
Dobrze, czyli chodzi tutaj o pewne budowanie.
Sure, so it's about a certain awareness building,
Jakby wyjście delikatnie ze skóry,
as if gently stepping out of one's skin, placing oneself in the position of an outsider and attempting to perceive it all.
Co jeszcze?
All right, what else?
Dzień dobry. Myślę,
Good morning.
że
I think
chyba trzeba sobie zadać
perhaps
pytanie,
one must
co
ask
jest głównym
oneself
celem
the
pedagoga.
question what the main goal of a pedagogue is.
Bo jeżeli, tak jak ja to
Because
rozumiem,
if, as
przygotowanie
I
studenta
understand
do
it,
uprawiania
it's
tego
about
zawodu,
preparing a student for pursuing this
ponieważ,
profession,
to jest chyba
because
najlepsza
that
droga
seems to be the best
po
way,
skończeniu studiów,
so that after
student
finishing studies,
mógł,
the student
umiał
can
pracować
effectively
nad
and
konkretnym programem w
independently
sposób jak najbardziej efektywny
work
i
on a
samodzielny.
specific program.
Więc chyba pedagog
So
powinien
I
przekazywać
believe the
wszystko,
pedagogue should say
co pomoże
everything
zrealizować
that
ten
will
cel.
help achieve this goal.
Dobra. To teraz na siłę troszeczkę.
All right,
ustawię się w
now
kadrze.
I will unwillingly
Czytam
take a
sztukę
bit of the
pianistyczną
contrary
Heinricha
steps.
Neuhausa.
When we read
On
the
ma tam takie
Art of
jedno
Piano Playing by
sformułowanie, które
Heinrich
oczywiście
Neuhaus,
dotyczy
he has
wybitnej
this
jednostki,
one
to
phrase
odnośnie
there, which of
Gillersa
course refers to an outstanding
albo Richtera.
individual. It was
Że
about
przede wszystkim w pracy
Gillers
z
or
tymi
Richter,
wybitnymi
that
jednostkami
above all,
najważniejsze
when
jest to,
working with these
aby nie
outstanding
przeszkadzać.
individuals, the most important thing is not to interfere.
Czasami tak.
Sometimes yes,
Czasami tak.
sometimes
Dobrze, ale
yes.
z drugiej strony, jeżeli
Well,
już na przykład
but on the other hand,
faktycznie mówimy o
if you are indeed talking,
osobach, którym
for
trzeba
example,
pomóc,
about
w jaki
individuals who
sposób
need
możemy ich
help,
inspirować?
how can we inspire
Kiedyś
them?
pedagodzy nakłaniali do
Once
tego,
educators
abyśmy
encouraged us to
poznawali
explore
poezję,
poetry,
abyśmy się
to be versed in
orientowali
other
w
fields of
dziedzinach
art.
sztuki. Natomiast
However,
dzisiaj, kiedy
today,
wszystko jest na
when
wyciągnięcie
everything
ręki,
is
kiedy
within
możemy
reach,
sobie obejrzeć
when we can watch
wszystkie
all the
masterclassy,
masterclasses
które są
available on
dostępne na
YouTube,
YouTubie, kiedy możemy wrócić
when we
i odsłuchać
can
mnóstwo
go back
nagrań
and
i
listen to
wykonań,
countless recordings and
możemy
performances, what can we do?
możemy tylko poinformować, że
Can we only inform that it's already there,
czy coś
or
więcej?
something more?
Myślę, że generalnie w tych
I
czasach,
think that
kiedy
generally these
wszystko dzieje się bardzo
days,
szybko,
when everything is
wszystkie
happening very
materiały mamy
quickly,
na wyciągnięcie
all
ręki.
materials are at
Myślę,
hand,
że
I think
samo budowanie
that
świadomości
building self-awareness
a propos sposobu, w
regarding
jaki sposób
how
filtrować
to
pewne
filter certain
informacje,
information,
w jaki sposób
how to
zdobywać
acquire
wiedzę,
knowledge,
uwrażliwiać się
becoming sensitive
na
to
sztukę,
art,
generalnie
generally,
na
to
piękno
beauty,
chociażby malarstwa,
even
rzeźby,
painting,
literatury,
sculpture,
żeby
literature,
znajdować
to find
środki, które nam
means that will
pomogą
help
w
us
wykonaniu
to
dzieła
create a
poprzez
work
sięganie
by
do różnych
reaching
rzeczy.
for different things.
To jest tak jak
It's
z
like
małymi
with little
dziećmi, które
children
mają
who have
wszystko do
everything
wyciągnięcia
at their
ręki.
fingertips.
Zadaniem rodzica
The
jest
parent's task
nauczenie,
is
jak
to
z tego
teach them how to
korzystać.
use it.
Myślę, że w przypadku pedagoga
Okay, I
poprzez,
think that
własne
in the case of
doświadczenie
educators, through
jest
our
oczywiście o
own
wiele większe
experience, which is
doświadczenie
of course
studenta.
much greater than the
Wiemy,
student's
jak pewne rzeczy
experience,
działają,
we know how
jak
certain things
to
work
wykorzystywać.
and how to
powinniśmy
implement them,
przede
so
wszystkim
we should primarily convey that.
jak najbardziej. I teraz mam takie
Absolutely.
pytanie. Przy okazji
Now I have
konkursu
this question.
chopinowskiego
In connection with the Chopin competition,
dotknęła nas
we were
dosyć mocno
affected by
znieczulica
quite
emocjonalna.
severe emotional numbness.
O czym powinniśmy rozmawiać? Nie tak
What
dawno
should we
mój
talk
kolega
about?
Szymon
Not long
Paruzel
ago, my
popełnił taki
colleague
tekst
Szymon Paruzel wrote such a text
dotyczący właśnie
concerning
konkursu chopinowskiego i
precisely
opisuje,
the Chopin competition,
jak wygląda
describing
dzisiaj ten
how
zawód
the profession of a
muzyka,
musician
co
looks
konkurs
today,
muzyko chopinowski,
and
ale
what the
w ogóle konkursy
competition, not
chopinowskie
only the
naprawdę z
Chopin
muzyką, z
one,
branżą
but
muzyczną.
competitions in general,
Dzisiaj nie
have
wystarczy
actually
dobrze
done to
grać.
music, to the music
Trzeba się
industry.
również świetnie
Today,
prezentować
it's
na
not
scenie.
enough to play well.
Dlaczego?
You also have to present yourself
Kiedyś,
brilliantly on
gdy
stage.
mieliśmy
Why?
różne
Once,
piosenki
when we had
muzykowe,
various songs, I'm talking here
nakręcało
about
się
pop
teledysk
music,
dla
when music videos were
podbicia
made to
świetnych.
boost views.
Dzisiaj od tych
Today we
teledysków
move away
środków
from these
mamy
music videos.
Spotify'a
We
i
have
różne
Spotify
inne
and various
serwisy
other streaming services,
Jedziemy samochodem,
and we are driving a
muzyką.
car listening to music.
Ale branża klasyczna
But the
dopiero
classical
teraz
industry
zaczęła.
has only now begun, only now. It sounds as if I wanted it, but it's not necessarily
Ale
what
teraz
I
przez
mean.
Deutsche Grammophon,
But now, whether it's
czy
Deutsche
różne
Grammophon or
typy
various
teledyski
videos with
podstawowe
certain
muzyki,
music,
czy to u Trifonowa,
whether
czy
it's
na
Trifonov's,
Łuņatyšvilis,
𝗤𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏
Także my teraz
So now we are starting to wrap this music with something
przystępnego dla oka.
even more visually appealing.
Czy to jest ten kierunek,
Is this the direction we want to go? And should our students know about it? That on stage, it's not enough to play great. It's not enough to be a good interpreter of music today.
Interpretatorem muzyki. Bo już w konkursie nie chodzi
Because in a competition, it's not about, well, in the Chopin competition, it's no longer about Chopin.
Jeżeli chodzi o trzecią rundę,
when it comes to the third stage, we have one requirement. Actually, not just one of the requirements is that you have to play a Chopin sonata, but of course without repeating the exposition. Why?
Dlaczego poprawiamy Chopin?
Why are we revising Chopin?
Dobra.
All right.
To pominę.
I'll skip that.
Kolejne pytanie.
Another question. Further continuing this discussion, what can we offer our students today when they have everything at their fingertips, where they can check everything at any time? Primarily, ourselves and our time. I know how irritating it may be for all students to see their teacher sitting somewhere in the corner, non-stop on their phone, answering emails. They can see it from the corner of the eye, and they do not get full attention. And this time seems to be completely wasted. What else can we offer to our students? Just ourselves. This one-on-one contact must be greatly appreciated.
Czas nam się skończył.
Our time is up.
Niedobrze.
Pity.
Miałem tutaj zaplanowane jeszcze dwie bardzo
As I planned two very strong things, but maybe it's for the better. Thank you very much. That's all from this discussion panel. And if anyone would like to talk further, I'm more than happy to do so.